place, they should have a brochure. If you don't, I can get you one down about our K-12 programs. If you want to open that up, you look on the far left-hand side are our elementary programs. We start in kindergarten, and people ask, how can you get financial literacy and work preparedness? Well, you start out by teaching them. Little kindergartners are all into them ourselves. So we have a program called Ourselves, and then in first grade we just branch out. It's our families. Then after the family, they are exposed to the community, then the city. And I think Tony has done our third grade presentation many times. He can probably do that in his sleep. Fourth grade's our region, and I brought in our region kit today to, when Tony gets up to talk a little bit about what he's done, I'll have him explain about how easy it is for a volunteer, because we supply you with the materials. Like Tony says, we supply you with the hour and a half training session that it's going to take to distribute and disseminate the JA materials. And in the fifth grade, we have our nation. And then sixth grade, we start with global. The kids are starting to learn about global. They learn about the euro dollar system and how global economies interact, about imports and exports, why we might import a lot of items from China, and why China might export a lot of items to us, and vice versa, and all the other countries. And then in high school, they're more hands-on with the financial literacy, the aspects of exploring economics, how to form a company program, career business success, how to be a success in business. And a lot of this, or most of this, is not taught in schools anymore because they're teaching towards tests, English, writing, math. They're not really exposed to the financial aspect. So, and Tony can tell you, when you come in to as an outsider to a classroom, you might be the only business contact person that student has throughout their whole elementary, middle, and high school career. And if you can expose to them some thoughts and ideas about the business world that you've experienced, you may actually change their theory or outlook towards what they might want to do towards the end of life, or for the rest of their life. Another pamphlet I've got there on the table is Junior Achievement, Empowering Young People to Own Their Economic Success. And if you open that all the way up, if you don't have one, I can pass this one to you. It has there in that brown shaded box there towards the bottom the rankings of how well a junior achievement student progresses in those four categories in that brown shaded box, usually in the middle to high 80s percent ahead of the rest of the students in the school systems in the United States. Junior achievement, how can you get involved as a volunteer? Volunteering is just that, it's volunteer. You find a school or a class or a grade that you really have a liking to or take a kindredship to, and you let Junior Achievement know that you'd like to be a volunteer. What is the time constraints for volunteering? Normally your elementary and middle schools are 5 to 6 classes. It's one class period per week. It does not have to be 5, 6 weeks in a row. We're very flexible with Junior Achievement, and Tony can tell you, once you get into bad weather and you have school cancellation or delay on the day that you actually are scheduled to teach, you obviously have to make arrangements with the teacher to catch up on that class or do whatever. It's all flexible. It's not required that you do them 6 in a row. We have spring sessions, we have fall sessions, we have winter sessions. We also are now branching out into after-school programs, so in case you can't actually, as a volunteer, do it during your normal business hours during the day, you can hopefully pick one of our schools and go and teach Junior Achievement after school. On everybody's seat should have been a list, and these are the last remaining current class open classes that Junior Achievement of Dayton has available. And Tanya's got them broken down into elementaries, and we've got middle classes. We've got 4 middle classes at Dayton Public Schools, basically the Dayton Leadership Academies, and we're heavily need a lot of elementary classes in the Beaver Creek City Schools, and specifically at Valley Elementary. So on your table, I did lay down my business card, and most of you should have Tanya's business card. She's a program manager. If after we conclude our activities here today and you have any other questions that I either can't answer today or you think of afterwards, please call Tanya. If you'd like to volunteer, Tanya would be the one to call or contact. Our web address is on the bottom of both of our business cards there. Go to that website, you click on education, you can drill down, and you'll get a lot of better explanation of what is involved in a kindergarten class, a middle school class, or a high school class. And I will tell you that Tony just told me before we had our prayer here that he really enjoys JA in a day. And a lot of the schools will request that they want their whole school to do JA, all your sessions in one day. And that's really a very efficient way of getting the word out, and you only have to go to the school one time. Your mission as a volunteer is completed in one day. The kids get their certificates, and Tony and I did that early this spring, or probably towards the end of winter. I believe it was in January, wasn't it, Tony? Mm-hmm. Over at Parkwood Elementary, and I believe that was over in Beaver Creek.
Yes.
Yes. And when we walked out of there, Tony says, "Wow, what a day. I really enjoyed it, Dan." But I want to tell you, the kids get their certificates, and most of the times as a follow-up, the teacher will set aside a certain class time and have the students write thank you notes to the volunteers. And I'm sure you've gotten these before, right, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
And this is one of the times from Parkwood Elementary. Tanya just brought these into me this week, and I thought, how can I use these in a meeting? And I just dawned on me this morning when I was preparing to come down here. I want to read you just 4, and I can show you that they really get into coloring. Third grade, they're printing. They're very, you can't find a better sponge than a third grade mind. They soak up everything. But I just want to read you 4, and these are typical of what they write back to their volunteers. Dear Mr. Dan, thank you for playing the money game and giving me pencils. I brought JA pencils into them. I learned about saving money in the bank. Sincerely, Fatima. Here's another one. This person really can color. Dear Mr. Trick, thank you for teaching how to save money. Also, thank for teaching me the zones. I learned about credit cards and debit cards. Now, that's what we're teaching in 3rd grade. I can tell you one thing. There's many high schoolers that don't know the difference between a debit card and a credit card, or probably wouldn't know how to use one or manage one. Sincerely, Braden. Now, here's 2 that might make you laugh a little bit. Dear Mr. Dan, I thought learning new things was fun. My favorite was the zones. I thought you were really fun. My mom still uses checks. And I explained to them, they're very good. You laugh at that one, but this one here will bring probably tears to your eyes, or maybe you'll really laugh. But we teach them in 3rd grade, and Tony can tell you about how to write a check, why we write a check. Many high schoolers, it's plastic, automatic deposit, automatic withdrawal, or use mom and dad's cash. They don't know what a check is about. And lastly, this one comes from Miguel. Dear Mr. Dan, when you came in, I thought you were going to be a boring substitute. But it turned out to be tons of fun with you around. You are the first teacher that made teaching a lot of fun. Signed, sincerely, Miguel. Now, if that doesn't rip your heart out and want you to make you want to volunteer to get a feedback like that, then I don't know what will. And I use these as a means of motivation to when I come out to talk to a new group or new people about volunteering. There's 2 things that you value in your life. One is your money, what Junior Achievement's about, and 2 is your time. Recently it's been windy, and you can walk down the street and open up your wallet or purse and a $20 bill blow out, and it goes down the street. Can you recover that $20 bill? Can you make up from that $20 bill? Yes, you can, because you just lost $20, and you're not going to get that case of beer. You're not going to go out to the movies. You're not going to have a steak that night. You somehow find a way to make up for that. Now, The other valuable thing you have is your time. Can you ever get back your time?
No.
No, because at this specific time, there's a group of people in this room that are saying this is the most valuable thing you can do with your time at this moment. You can't get back the time you spend or invest at this meeting because it's gone. So people will write a $20 check, $100 check to Junior Achievement to help us fund some of these classes. That's great. They make arrangements to counteract that by doing less or giving some less to another charity. But to actually come out into a classroom and spend your time, even though you might sit behind a desk 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever, you can't get back that time. And I explain to the high school students that I go to that I'm a volunteer and I have to figure out how to get my job done and still volunteer inside the classroom. And once you explain that to them, I think you get more of their attention, even in the younger grades, because they really don't know what volunteer means until you explain to them. So that's the spiel that I have for education, and I want to explain a little bit about the other pamphlets you have on the table. Does anybody have any questions about education or volunteering? And we can discuss this after I'm done here or later on the phone or just while we're eating. One of the things that Tony mentioned is the bowl-a-thons, and you should have a pamphlet there that shows a bunch of people having fun at a bowl-a-thon. And if you open that up to the very first opening, you find that we have 3 general bowl-a-thon times, and I think Tony says that the Civitans have decided to bowl at Polking Woodman Lanes on April the 8th at 2:00 p.m.
Yep.
We also have May the 6th at the same bowling alley, and April the 22nd we have a bankers bowl-a-thon, but I'm opening that up now. The bankers like to bowl later in the day on Saturday because they're open till 1 or 2 o'clock and they're closing their books and finishing up their office duties. But that bowl-a-thon on April the 22nd is a moonlight bowl. It's at 7:30 p.m. Anybody here experienced moonlight bowling? They turn the lights down, they got the strobe lights, they got the ball on, there's sparkles going around the room, they play a lot of disco music. And what a bowl-a-thon consists of for Junior Achievement's purposes is you each, and I negotiate these prices with Polking. We bowl 2 games and you get shoe rental for $8. Each bowler is expected or should pay that fee, but for that fee you get to bowl 2 games and your shoe rental. And JA supplies a 1 topping, a large pizza per bowling team or per lane, and we supply the soda pop for each bowler. You bowl 2 games, and we always have raffle baskets there that you can raffle on. We have a 50-50 drawing that we do arm's length of tickets for $10. All the tickets go into a pot. We draw out 1 name, and 50% goes to Junior Achievement for the funding, and 50% goes to the winner whose name is pulled out. Usually can plan on spending about 2 to 2.5 hours at a bowl-a-thon. We do have practice bowling before we start, but that's one of the ways that we raise funds for our classes. How you can go about doing this, Tony has, I believe, envelopes. For team captains. We usually suggest about $100 per bowler. We usually suggest about 5 bowlers per team because that usually gets us around $500, and that's just about how much it costs to actually get 1 class done of 20 to 25 students in the in JA curriculums. You can get more than 5 bowlers, more than $500, less than $500. If you only have 4 members and you can only raise $225 or whatever, feel free to come. And what I'd like to do at this time, since we really have very low attendance scheduled for our April the 22nd bowl-a-thon, is to extend to the Civitans who bowl on April the 8th. And Tony, I want you to be in charge of this, please. You can come, no strings attached money-wise. Let me know how many teams you'll have for that April the 22nd bowl-a-thon at Polking Woodman in Huber Heights. And you come, you pay for the shoes and the rental, and I'll get you the pizza and stuff, and there's no extra money needed for that. So I'll open that up to the Civitans so we can help fill that alley. I've got that whole bowling alley except for the 12 lanes that they've got for a men's league over there bowling that night. I've got 30 lanes tied down. I only have like 17 filled up so far. So I'll extend that invitation to anybody who bowls on the 8th. They're welcome to come over. Now, another thing, a lot of times people say, oh, on Saturday, that's the time I spend with my kids. I'd have to get a babysitter. Guess what Junior Achievement does? Kids, usually up to about the age of 12, bowl free. All of our bowling lanes can put up the bumper rails in a matter of 5 seconds. They bowl free. All I need to know is we put about 5 kids per lane. How many lanes of kids are you going to have? So, Tony, even at this late notice, if you can get 5 kids, 4 or 5 kids, bring the kids, let me know, because what I need to know is how many kids are coming, because all the kids that come get an automatic complimentary door prize, and they really love it. And they also get pizza, and they also get pop. And there's no excuse for mom or dad to say, well, I've got to stay home and bed. No, you come, you bowl, and let Junior Achievement babysit your kids and they'll have fun. Believe me, Tony, you've been at a bowl-a-thon before, you know, and it's just one means that Junior Achievement has of raising funds. Any questions about the bowl-a-thon? Okay.
Tell them how they can go online, set up their own.
Yes. I don't have that information with me, but I can get you the information if you send me an email. You can go online to our JA website and sign up there for your team, for your personal donations. And they have a way that you can go to Facebook, or you can actually just type in there online a generic email that you want to go out, and you just list who you want it to go to, and they'll send it to whoever. And Tony's got people, I think, from California, whatever. We actually had one bowler down in Butler County about 2 years ago who sent out the email, and he sent it to several of his buddies that were down in the islands, Caribbean islands. Those people down there must have really responded. He raised over $4,000 just by sending it out to Facebook. And if you look at your bowl-a-thon brochure there, if you open it up further, you actually will see, well, we don't list it in the, yes, it's prizes that the bowlers can receive for raising money. So anybody who raises $100 or more, up to $200, Junior Achievement sees that they get 2 movie tickets. Now, these are not to your Danbury theaters where you see movies that were first run 8 months ago. These are your good $12.50, $13 tickets to usually the Rave Theater, and you're allowed to use these to opening night of the first day of the show, whatever. And it graduates up. You can earn, the sky's the limit, just about what you can earn as awards for the money that you raise. And some ways of doing this, if you've ever been asked to sponsor a breast cancer walk, it's so many cents per mile. You have to think, well, I'm not walking, but I'm knocking down pins. Get somebody to donate a nickel a pin, or everybody knows what a turkey is in bowling, where you get 3 strikes in a row. If you hit a turkey, do a turkey, have them pledge $5 for the turkey, or 10 or whatever. There's all kinds of ingenious ways of raising money. If you're at a business and you've got 30 or 40 people, you can have a bake sale, all kinds of ways to raise the money. You can just have them donate a check or write a check. Be sure that when you turn that money into Tony, your team captain, that Tony knows that you raised $385, so we can get you the proper award at the end of the bowling season. Anything else I'm missing, Tony? Okay. On everybody's seat, you should have one of these save the date for golf. Tony's participated in our golf outing a couple of times, and we golf this year on June the 12th at Walnut Grove Country Club. It's a private club, and they close down every Monday. Most of your private clubs close down Monday for your charity golf outings, and we've got June the 12th tied down, and it may seem a little bit exorbitant for a foursome for $1,500 or a twosome for $750, but let me explain what you get for that, what you get when you come to bowl. You get a goodie bag, and usually there's some golf balls, maybe a sleeve, maybe a box of 12. You get divot repairs, you get tees, you get sunburn equipment, lip balm, all kinds of, you might get a certificate for a free item in there from a McDonald's restaurant. You get lunch, and lunch is usually served around 11 o'clock. You get a nice lunch. Usually it's a box lunch with a sandwich and everything in it. Then we have a 12 o'clock shotgun start. Everyone gets we pair them up in groups of 4, but each cart has 2 golfers, and you go out and golf. All your beverages on the course, beer, soda, pop, tea, water, are all complimentary, or you pay for them in the price. And then everyone will get a nice golf shirt, and it's similar to a shirt like Tony's wearing there, but it always has a logo of a golf major golf event that's not even occurred in the United States yet. So the golfers are actually getting these shirts before they're even out offered to the general public.
I had a 2016 Ryder Cup.
Yes. And what happens is you end up wearing these shirts out to an event or out, and somebody says,
I should have worked today.
yes,
I didn't think about
no,
it.
and somebody says, how was that event? And I say, that's funny you should ask. I've never attended that event, but this is a shirt to Junior Achievement, and that's a way to get Junior Achievement out there as a means of conversation. A lot of times you wear these golf shirts, people assume that you golf or you follow golf. I'm not a golfer, I don't follow golf, but when they start that conversation, I say, I'll tell you about that. So then afterwards, there's usually about a 1 hour happy hour where you go into to the bar. Last year we had a beer tasting event from Heidelberg, but I think we're going to go back to the open bar theory this year. And then there's a grill to order, New York strip, complete dinner. It's grill to order. You go out and pick out what steak you want on the grill. Chef has them all there ready to go, and more beverages are at the table. We also at that time have silent auctions, and usually they're sports related items. We have I think last year we had a wheelbarrow of booze that we raffled off. We have other raffle baskets, all kinds of ways to gather money to support Junior Achievement. This event last year raised just a little bit less, and gross revenue a little bit less than $40,000. That's just about what we can gross at this amount that we have here, and for about 20 to 21 teams. And that includes all the money that the golfers spend the day of the event. Your save the date is there. If you've got any questions or would like to reproduce this, I can send it to you by scanning it on email. You can send this out to your friends. We had a golf meeting this week, and already 2 teams that golfed last year will not be able to participate this year. So we've got a challenge to get a couple of golf teams. Everyone should